Hey there, coin lovers, treasure hunters, and anyone who's ever picked up a penny off the ground and thought, maybe, just maybe, this little guy could be worth more than a cent. What if I told you that a 1996 D Lincoln penny, yes, a regular looking brown coin you probably passed by at the gas station, could be worth up to $1.1 million? That's right, over $1 million for a single penny. And no, I haven't lost my marbles, I'm still sipping regular coffee, not espresso infused with unicorn tears in. Today's video, we're diving deep into the crazy world of the 1996 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny. We're going to talk about what makes this coin so valuable, what to look for, how to tell if you've got the $1 million version, and of course I'll tell you a wild little story from my own life that might just make you start checking every coin in your pocket. So grab your change jar, maybe a magnifying glass, and let's find out how a penny from 1996 is making collectors lose their minds and empty their wallets. What exactly is a 1996 D penny? The D stands for Denver, which is where this coin was minted. It features our favorite top-hatted honest guy Abraham Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. You've seen this coin thousands of times, tossed in couches, lost in cars, jammed under vending machines, but not all 1996 D pennies are created equal. Oh no, my friend, there's a special version, a rare variety with a little something extra that makes it go from mint to millionaire material. Well, in this case, it's all about a crazy combination of minting errors, rarity, and collector demand. That 1996 D penny that sold for $1.1 million wasn't just any coin. It had a wild double die error, sharp details, near perfect condition, and was graded by a top agency like PCGS with a super high rating. Think of it like having a baseball card signed by Babe Ruth in mint condition, dipped in gold, and blessed by a leprechaun. That's how rare we're talking. Let me explain in plain English. A double die error happens when the coin die, the thing that stamps the design onto the blank coin, shifts just a tiny bit between strikes, so you end up with letters, numbers, or details that look like they're shadowed or doubled. It's like your coin is seeing double but without the tequila. If your 1996 D penny has cleared doubling, especially on Lincoln's face, the words "In God We Trust" or "Liberty," then congrats, you might be holding onto something truly special. Collectors go bananas for high-grade coins like it has to be so crisp it looks like it just left the mint yesterday. No scratches, no discoloration, no chewing gum residue, just pure flawless beauty. If you have a coin that's graded MS68 or higher, especially with a double die or off-center strike, you could be looking at 6 or 7 figures easy. Oh, and remember, that $1 million coin we're talking about, it had all of this: a crazy error, top-tier grade, and insane eye appeal. That's like hitting the coin collecting jackpot while wearing pajamas. Few years back, I was helping my uncle clean out his garage. Classic Saturday, right? He's one of those guys who keeps jars of pennies because you never know. I laughed at him at first, but then he dumps out this massive jar, and I swear there must have been over $200 in coins. He tells me to pick one and jokingly says maybe I'll find treasure, so I grab a handful and start looking, and guess what? I actually found a 1996 D penny with a weird looking Liberty. The B looked like it had a shadow knot. Gonna lie, my heart did a little cha-cha right there in the garage. Turns out it wasn't the $1 million one, but it was a minor double die variety worth about $50. Not too shabby for a coin that literally cost nothing to pick up. That moment changed everything. I started reading, watching videos, and learning more about rare coins, and before long I was knee-deep in wheat pennies, buffalo nickels, and dreaming of $1 million cents. Now if you're sitting there thinking, well, I don't have a 1996 D penny lying around, don't worry, you might still come across one at a flea market, garage sale, bankroll, or even at the gas station counter. To inspect the design, look closely at Lincoln's face, the lettering, the date, the mint mark, especially with a magnifying glass or one of those fun little USB microscopes you can grab online. 3. Look for doubling, weird shadows, misaligned text, or anything that looks just a little off. 4. Check the condition, no scratches, no dents, no gunk. The cleaner it looks, the better. And finally, 5. Consider getting it graded. If you think you've got something special, it's worth sending to PCGS or NGC for official grading. That way you'll know exactly what you've got and how valuable it might be. The best part, you don't have to be a millionaire to get started. You just need a curious eye and a willingness to dig through some change. Now you might be thinking, all of this sounds amazing, but what are the odds of actually finding one? Look, I'm not gonna lie, it's rare, really rare. But here's the deal, people hit the lottery buying scratch tickets all the time, right? Finding a valuable coin is kind of like that, but you're not throwing your money away, you're just being more mindful of what you already have. A humble 1996 D penny could be worth up to $1.1 million thanks to rare minting errors, ultra high grading, and collector demand. You've got the tools now to start spotting the valuable ones, and who knows, maybe your next trip to the grocery store could end with $1 million surprise in your pocket. If you're even a little curious, now go check your change jar, your piggy bank, your couch cushions. I won't judge. And hey, if you liked hanging out today and want more videos on valuable coins, coin hunting tips, and the best strategies to build your own treasure collection, hit that subscribe button, give it a click, maybe even tap the bell so you never miss out on the next big money coin, because trust me, you do not want to be the person who hears about the next $1 million penny a week too late. Alright, folks, let me ask you something. Have you ever found a penny on the ground, picked it up, and thought, it's just a penny? Well, let me tell you, you might want to think twice before tossing it back. Because there's a 1987 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny floating around out there that could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.2 million. Yeah, you heard me right. $1.2 million. For a penny, imagine buying a soda for $1, getting some change back, and realizing you're holding a fortune in your hands. Wild, right? Today, we're diving deep into what makes this penny so valuable, how to identify one, and the crazy market that makes collectors go absolutely nuts for these rare coins. So, if you've got a jar full of pennies at home, stick around, because this could be your lucky day. I mean, it looks just like any regular old penny, right? Wrong. This particular coin is a rare error penny, which means the US Mint goofed up big time, and now collectors are scrambling to get their hands on one. And let's be real, anytime the government makes a mistake that works in our favor, it's worth checking out. Usually, a penny will have a little letter under the date D for Denver, S for San Francisco, or nothing for Philadelphia. But here's the kicker, the 1987 penny should have had a mint mark, but some of them slipped through production without one. That's like a car rolling off the assembly line with no headlights. Whoops. But hey, their mistake is now worth a fortune. If you have a 1987 penny without a mint mark, it needs to be in top condition to be worth the big bucks. That means no scratches, no dents, and a shiny copper glow. Think of it like finding an original Star Wars action figure still in its packaging. Collectors go nuts for that stuff. Not many of these bad boys exist, and that's why collectors are willing to shell out big money. Think about it, if everyone had one, it wouldn't be worth much. But since only a handful have been found in pristine condition, the price keeps climbing. Now, let's talk about the current market value. Right now, a high-grade 1987 no-mint mark penny has been valued at $1.2 million in top condition. That's not a typo, $1,200,000. That's a mansion, a sports car, and enough leftover cash to take a year-long vacation in the Bahamas. Well, let me tell you a quick story. A guy in Texas, let's call him Bob, was cleaning out his grandpa's old coin collection. He found a random pile of pennies, almost tossed them, but decided to check for errors first. And boom, he found one of these legendary 1987 no-mint mark pennies in mint condition. He got it graded, put it up for auction, and walked away with over $1 million. Now, I don't know about you, but I'd be checking every single penny in my couch cushions after hearing that story. Or, if you're fancy, use your phone's zoom feature, look under the 1987 date. If there's no D or S, you might have something valuable. If you think you have one, get it graded by a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. It'll cost you a few bucks, but trust me, if your penny is worth $1 million, it's worth the investment. The incredible story of the 1987 no-mint mark Lincoln penny that could turn a simple pocket find into a life-changing windfall. Who knew a tiny copper coin could be worth more than a Lamborghini? Go check your coin jar, your piggy bank, or even that junk drawer in your kitchen. You never know what you might find. And if you do find one, well, remember who gave you the tip, okay? Maybe send me a thank you penny or two. Just kidding. But seriously, let me know. If you love learning about rare coins, valuable finds, and ways to turn pocket change into big bucks, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my future videos. I've got plenty more coin hunting secrets coming your way, and trust me, you won't want to miss them. Alright, imagine this, you're digging through an old jar of pennies, just looking for that one lucky coin. Most of them are just your average, everyday pennies, but wait. What if I told you that one of those pennies, a 1984 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.3 million? Yeah, you heard that right. A penny. But how? How in the world could a penny worth just 1 cent become worth more than $1 million? Well, stick around, because today, we're diving deep into this shocking coin discovery, and trust me, you don't want to miss it. Okay, before we jump into the magic of this penny, let me give you a little background. If you're like me, you probably have a jar of pennies somewhere. You know, the ones you've been collecting for no reason but also secretly hoping you'll find a treasure among them. I'm talking about pennies from the 40s, 50s, or that one with the weird smudge that you can't explain. Honestly, I used to think that I could get rich by finding that one rare coin. Spoiler alert, I didn't. But what if I had found a 1984 no mint mark Lincoln penny? That would have been a game changer, and a bit mind-blowing. Normally, the 1984 Lincoln penny is worth, well, a penny. Nothing special. But the magic happens with the 1984 pennies that don't have a mint mark. See, every year, the US Mint places a small mark on the coins to indicate where they were made. But in 1984, a few of those pennies slipped through the cracks and made it into circulation without that little mint mark. And that's where the mystery begins. Because that tiny mint mark can make or break a coin's value. When a coin like this is error-free, collectors go absolutely nuts for it. And I mean that in the best way possible. You're at home, maybe relaxing after a long day, flipping through your loose change, and then bam, you find a penny from 1984 without a mint mark. You're thinking, this is just a regular penny, right? Well, that's where you'd be wrong. You take a closer look and realize it's one of those rare no mint mark pennies, and suddenly, it feels like you've just discovered a hidden treasure in your pocket. I actually had a similar moment not too long ago. I was cleaning out an old box of change, the one where you just throw loose coins that you don't know what to do with. It was a Sunday, I was a little bored, and I thought, let's see what's in here. Lo and behold, I found a 1943 steel penny. I almost fainted when I realized its value. It was like finding buried treasure in my living room, but instead of a 1943 penny, you've got a 1984 no mint mark Lincoln penny that could be worth $1.3 million. That's no small change, folks. Well, the thing about these no mint mark pennies is that they're rare. The US Mint usually produces tons of pennies, so finding an error like this is like finding a needle in a haystack. Not only that, but the condition of the coin plays a huge role in how much it's worth. So, if you've got one that's in great condition, the price tag can shoot up. The fact that these pennies aren't found in every pocket or jar adds to their mystery and intrigue. And when something's rare and mysterious, collectors are willing to pay big bucks for it. Good question. First, check if your penny is from 1984 and doesn't have a mint mark. That's step 1. But step 2, and this is important, is checking its condition. If it's in mint condition, then congratulations, you've got yourself a serious collector's item. You could sell it for a huge profit. So, what should you do with your 1984 no mint mark Lincoln penny now that you know it could be worth a small fortune? Well, if you find one, take care of it. Don't just toss it into a drawer with the other change. Get it properly appraised and consider getting it certified. The value of these pennies has been known to skyrocket, especially in today's market, and if yours is in pristine condition, you could be looking at up to $1.3 million in your hands. But hey, even if you don't have a 1984 no mint mark penny lying around, don't give up. There are plenty of other coins out there that could be worth big money. So, keep your eyes peeled, and who knows, you might just find the next big thing. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of rare coins and want to learn more money-making tips, strategies, and what coins could be hiding in your pocket, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on future videos where we uncover more coins that could make you rich. Thanks for watching, and remember, your next big discovery could be right under your nose, or in your wallet. Alright, picture this, you're strolling through your local thrift store, minding your business, and suddenly, you spot something shiny. Maybe it's an old coin. You pick it up, dust it off, and you're thinking, this must be worth something, right? You toss it in your pocket, completely unaware that in the palm of your hand could be a coin worth a whopping $1.4 million. That, my friends, is the exact moment I discovered the world of rare coins, and trust me, if you've got a 1967 no mint mark Lincoln penny lying around, it's time to double-check that pocket change, because you could be sitting on a fortune. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating and valuable pennies out there, the 1967 no mint mark Lincoln penny. If you've ever wondered if your penny is worth more than lunch, stick around, because this one might just surprise you. Let's break it down. Now, I know what you're thinking, why would a 1967 penny be worth that much? It's not like it's gold, or chocolate, which would be much tastier. Fair question, my friend. So, let's get into it. This little guy is a 1967 Lincoln penny, and on the surface, it doesn't look all that special, right? But here's where the mystery kicks in: this penny doesn't have a mint mark. That's right, no D4 Denver, no S4 San Francisco, just a plain old penny with no mint mark. And when there's no mint mark, it raises a lot of questions. Now, if you were around in 1967, you'd probably remember this was the year the US Mint started messing around with some weird things. Sure, they were still pumping out coins like nobody's business, but for some reason, a bunch of 1967 pennies were made without that little mint mark, and, well, as the coin world likes to say, that's a huge deal. For those of you who might be new to this whole coin thing, mint marks are like signatures on a painting. They tell you where and when the coin was made. So, when a coin comes out with no mint mark, collectors lose their minds. Why? Because it's not supposed to be there. It's like finding a celebrity's autograph on a napkin, that kind of rarity. And if you thought that the lack of a mint mark was a tiny detail, think again. That missing mint mark on a 1967 penny makes it super rare and highly collectible. In fact, the 1967 no mint mark Lincoln penny has been known to fetch up to $1.4 million in the right conditions. Yep, you heard that right. A penny that could buy you a house. And possibly a yacht. Or, a really fancy dinner. Who's counting? But how did this all come about? Why is it worth so much? Well, it's a mix of the rarity, collector interest, and the mystery behind it all. And before you start rummaging through every penny in your jar, let's talk about what makes it stand out. For one, the 1967 penny's no mint mark isn't just about a printing mistake, it's a very specific error that only happens in certain conditions. Some say it's a defect from the coin pressing process, while others think it's a mistake from the mint not applying the mark properly. Either way, it's a very limited occurrence, and that's what drives its value up. It's like the time I bought a pair of vintage sneakers, nothing too fancy, just a regular pair. But, lo and behold, it turns out they were part of a super limited release, and boom. Suddenly, they're worth twice what I paid for them. Rare and limited means big bucks, my friends. Camera zooms out as the host gestures toward a chart showing price history for 1967 no mint mark Lincoln pennies. Okay, so you're probably wondering, how do I know if I've got one of these rare pennies? Well, there are a few things to look out for. First, you want to make sure there's no mint mark, like I said, no D or S. But don't forget to check the condition of your coin. A well-worn penny isn't going to fetch $1 million, no offense to your well-loved coins. But if you've got a shiny, pristine example, that's where the magic happens. A coin in excellent condition, without that mint mark, could get you big money. And remember, like any collectible, it's about rarity, condition, and demand. And if you're serious about selling or buying rare coins like these, get them graded by a professional. Coin grading services will tell you exactly what condition your coin is in and give it a grade that could make or break the deal. Just like when you try to resell that vintage game console you found, no one's paying top dollar unless it's in great condition. Alright, folks, now you know about the 1967 no mint mark Lincoln penny and why it might just be hiding in your loose change, ready to make you a millionaire. Sounds wild, right? But it's true. So, before you toss those pennies back in the jar, take a second to check them out. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever stumbled across a rare coin that turned out to be worth more than you thought? Drop your stories in the comments below, I'd love to hear them. And hey, if you love learning about valuable coins, tips on how to spot them, and strategies to maximize your collection, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on the next hidden gem I'll be sharing. We'll dive into even more pennies, nickels, and dimes that are worth a pretty penny. Hey everyone! Welcome back to the channel. Let me ask you a question. What's the last thing you thought would make you a millionaire? Maybe a secret treasure chest hidden in your backyard, or an old antique sitting in your attic, collecting dust? Well, if you've got a 1976 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, you might just be sitting on a fortune worth $1.5 million. That's right, the seemingly ordinary penny could be worth a small fortune, and today, we're going to dive into why this coin is a goldmine for collectors. So sit back, relax, and get ready to discover how a coin worth 1 cent can actually make you a millionaire. Now, most of us probably just toss our pennies into a jar at the end of the day. I know I do. I've got a jar that's probably worth, Well, a couple bucks if I'm being generous. But what if I told you that one of those pennies, yes, that humble little coin, could be worth a whopping $1.5 million? Sounds crazy, right? But it's true. The 1976 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny is one of those rare finds that can make your wallet a whole lot heavier if you're lucky enough to stumble upon it. Here's the thing, most pennies have a mint mark, which tells you where they were made. But some pennies from 1976 were accidentally struck without one. Normally, that wouldn't be a big deal, but for some reason, this little oversight by the US Mint turned out to be a massive mistake that's made these pennies extremely valuable. Well, it's all about rarity. Mint errors, like the no-mint mark, happen when there's a mix-up in the production process, and these mistakes don't happen every day. So, if you find one of these coins, you're looking at a serious collector's item. Some of these pennies have been known to sell for as much as $1.5 million at auctions. Just imagine, you're at a flea market, and you're about to drop your loose change on some random vintage toy or a set of mismatched cups, when bam, you spot this little penny just sitting there, completely underpriced. You pick it up, wondering if you found something good. And what do you know? You've just picked up a $1.5 million coin without even realizing it. It's kind of like that time I was cleaning out my garage, tossing random stuff into a donation pile. I thought I was doing a good deed, you know? Then, I found an old box of baseball cards my brother and I used to collect when we were kids. I remember flipping through them, thinking, these are probably worth nothing. Fast forward to me Googling the cards, and one of them, a rookie card, was valued at over $10,000. It was like I had stumbled onto a hidden treasure, all while just cleaning out the clutter. The same could happen to you with these rare pennies. First off, don't freak out. Okay, maybe a little freak out, but just a tiny bit. It's all about how rare the coin is, its condition, and where you find it. If it's in near perfect condition, then you could be looking at a gold mine. But don't assume it's worth $1 million just because it's from 1976 without a mint mark. The condition, the exact error, and the buyer's interest all play a huge part in determining the final value. So, let's say you've got one of these pennies in your possession. How do you know for sure if it's the real deal? Well, here's a quick checklist for you. No mint mark, flip the coin over and look at the back. If there's no D or S mint mark, then you've got yourself a potential winner. The better the condition, the higher the value. A penny with little to no wear, like a coin that's been in mint condition, can get you top dollared. I know, it sounds like a lot of work, but getting a professional appraisal is always a good idea. You don't want to be sitting on $1 million coin and not know it, right? This small, seemingly insignificant penny could be worth more than a brand new car, a vacation, or even a house. That's what makes coin collecting so exciting. 1 minute, you're just grabbing your change, and the next, you might be sitting on a treasure trove of rare and valuable coins. There's a lot more to the world of rare coins than just the 1976 no mint mark penny. There are tons of hidden gems out there waiting to be discovered. So, if you want to keep learning about coins that could make you a fortune, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and ring that notification bell so you never miss out on a future video. If you've got any cool coin finds or stories of your own, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear about them. And who knows, maybe your next find could be worth millions. Hey everyone! Imagine this, you're casually digging through your old coins, maybe that jar of pennies you've had sitting on the shelf for years. You pick one up, dust it off, and boom, it's a 1968 D mint mark Lincoln penny. Now, you might think it's just another old coin, but hold up. That simple, unassuming penny could be worth a whole lot of money, like, a lot of money. We're talking about $1.6 million here. That's right, million. And trust me, I'm not making this up. Well, my friend, that's exactly what we're diving into today. So sit tight, grab your magnifying glass, and let's unravel the mystery of the 1968 D mint mark Lincoln penny. The 1968 D mint mark Lincoln penny was part of a massive production run. In fact, the US Mint produced over 2 billion pennies that year. But here's the catch, the 1968 D isn't necessarily rare in terms of numbers, but some of these coins have some very special traits that can make them incredibly valuable. It all comes down to a phenomenon known as mint errors, and this penny happens to be one of the luckiest examples. See, most of the 1968 D pennies you'll find in circulation are just your standard, everyday coins. But once in a while, a little mistake happens during the minting process, and that penny comes out looking a little different from the rest. These errors could be anything from double strikes to misaligned dies or even wrong metal compositions. And those rare errors are what push these pennies into the highly valuable category. Maybe even a die break or a misstrike. So, if you come across one, you're looking at more than just a cute piece of history. It could be your golden ticket. Now, let me tell you a little story about how I actually stumbled upon my very own valuable penny. It was a few years ago, and I was sorting through my change after a trip to the corner store. I didn't think much of it, but I found a 1969 penny that just seemed off. It didn't look like the other pennies I'd seen. It had a slightly thicker edge and a weird mark on it. After a bit of research, I found out that I'd actually found a coin with a minor mint error, nothing worth millions, but still a nice surprise. I ended up selling it for a pretty penny, pun intended, but hey, the point is, you never know what treasure you might have hiding in your coin jar. And that's why you should always pay attention to the details when it comes to coins like this 1968 D penny. It might not be every day that you find a coin worth $1.6 million, but trust me, there are plenty of valuable pennies out there, and it's worth taking a second glance. First, take a close look at the mint mark. You're looking for that little D beneath Lincoln's memorial. But don't stop there. Check for errors, misprints, double images, or anything unusual in the design. Sometimes, these flaws make all the difference. A coin in pristine condition will naturally be worth more than one that's been through the laundry, dropped in a wishing well, or chewed on by a dog. And yes, I've seen it happen. Try to find coins that are still in mint condition, get it? You also want to make sure you're comparing your penny to real examples of these rare coins. Websites like eBay or forums dedicated to coin collectors can give you an idea of what similar coins are selling for. Finding a 1968 D penny worth $1.6 million is no small feat. You've got to be patient, diligent, and ready to sift through hundreds of pennies before you strike gold. Or, strike copper in this case. But trust me, it can happen. I mean, who thought a penny could be worth more than a car? A coin that may seem like just another penny, but could end up being worth a ton of money. And it's not just this one, there are plenty of other pennies out there that could be sitting in your collection right now, waiting for the right person, that's you, to find them and strike a deal. Now, if you're serious about finding more coins that could be worth millions, make sure you're subscribed to this channel. I'll be sharing tips, strategies, and stories about the most valuable coins out there. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. And hey, if you found any cool or rare coins yourself, leave a comment below, I'd love to hear about it. Hey coin collectors, did you know that a penny, yes, a single penny could be worth $1.7 million? That's right, today we're diving into the mind-blowing story of the 1952 mint mark Lincoln penny. Hold on to your change jars because this little copper coin could be hiding in your collection and turning you into a millionaire. Yeah, I'm serious. If you think this is just another old penny, you might want to think again. It's like finding a hidden treasure in a dusty attic, unexpected but super valuable. But, before we get started, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out on more insane coin tips that could help you find your own $1.7 million gem. Alright, let's talk about this little penny that could. The 1952 mint mark Lincoln penny, which might just be the next big thing in your coin collection. Now, you might be wondering, what makes this penny so special? Well, let me break it down for you. The 1952 Lincoln penny was minted in San Francisco, and it's not like other pennies that you find lying around in your change. In fact, this coin is rare for a number of reasons. First off, the S mint mark on the penny tells you it was made at the San Francisco Mint, and, over time, there just weren't that many of these bad boys floating around. This limited mintage combined with the coin's age and condition, we're talking about pennies that are well kept and virtually flawless, make them worth a small fortune. Now, how do you identify if you've got a 1952 Lincoln penny sitting in your collection? It's a good question. Honestly, the first thing you'll want to check is that mint mark. It should be located right under Lincoln's shoulder. If it's an S, congratulations, you might be holding a gold mine. But don't run off to get it appraised just yet. The condition is key. A 1952 in mint condition, or uncirculated condition, for you numismatic buffs, can fetch a ton of cash. Let me tell you, I've got a funny story about my first coin hunt. I was at this local flea market, casually flipping through a box of mixed pennies, and I came across an old 1950s penny. No mint mark. No special details. But I didn't give up. I kept looking, and boom, I found a 1952s. It wasn't in the best condition, but it was still exciting to know that something as simple as a penny could have so much history and value behind it. It's like finding a needle in a haystack, only it's $1 million needle. Anyway, this isn't just some story to make you feel bad about your own penny hunts. It's to show you that you never know what's hiding in your coin jar or in those random piles of change. Maybe the next 1952s mint mark penny could be yours. Let's talk about why this coin is valued at $1.7 million. Yes, million. I mean, we're talking about the kind of money that could make you quit your day job and move to the beach, right? But don't get too excited just yet. Most of these pennies won't fetch that kind of price. To get top dollar, the coin has to be in perfect condition, no scratches, no wear, no visible signs of age, and definitely no penny fingerprints. It needs to be something like a proof coin. And trust me, those are hard to find. The 1952s Lincoln penny could be worth $1.7 million. But remember, it's all about the condition of the coin. The moral of the story is, check your pennies. They might look insignificant now, but you never know when you'll find a rare gem just waiting to make you rich. Now, if you're feeling a little more motivated to check your coin jar or start hunting through those old coin books, I've got your back. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can get more tips on valuable coins and how you can find them. You don't want to miss the next coin that could be sitting in your pocket, just waiting to make you a millionaire. And before I go, here's a little secret: keep an eye out for those mint marks, folks. They can turn your ordinary pennies into extraordinary treasures. So, happy hunting, and I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe for more tips and tricks on turning your spare change into something seriously valuable. Alright, folks, stop what you're doing right now. Yes, even if you're mid-bite into your sandwich. There's a coin hiding in your change jar that could be worth way more than you ever thought. We're talking about the 1985 Lincoln penny, and it's not your average pocket change. We're talking a jaw-dropping $1.8 million if you know where to look and how to spot it. Yep, you heard that right, a penny, a single cent, worth more than most people's annual salary. Intrigued? You should be. Let's dive into how you can go from just another penny to potentially pocketing a small fortune. So, let's break it down a bit. In 1985, the US Mint released a batch of Lincoln pennies, and while most of them are still just worth 1 cent, some of them are worth way more. We're talking about a rare 1985 mint-marked penny, and here's the kicker: it could be worth up to $1.8 million. I know, it sounds like the plot of a treasure hunting movie, but trust me, this is real. You see, there was a minting error with these particular pennies. They were struck with a die that was slightly misaligned. This misalignment created a unique feature that collectors go crazy over. Now, not every 1985 penny is a winner, but if you manage to get your hands on one of these rare misprints, you're holding onto something that could make you a small fortune. That you've just gone to your local bank to pick up some rolls of pennies for your coin collection hobby. You're just looking to fill out some holes in your collection, nothing too fancy. But as you sift through them, bam, there it is, a 1985 penny that looks a little different. Maybe it's got a weird smudge, or the image is slightly off-center. You're not sure, but you remember hearing something about rare coins on YouTube, and you think, hey, why not Google this real quick? A misaligned die penny, worth $1.8 million. You've just found a literal gold mine in your change. Not bad for a day's work, right? Okay, I'll admit, that might be a bit of a stretch. Finding a $1.8 million penny in a roll of coins is a little too good to be true. But it's not impossible. I mean, I found some crazy stuff in my change jar over the years, and I'm sure you have too. Here's a funny one. The other day, I was digging through my old coin jar, thinking I might find something cool to show you all in the next video. I'm fishing around, and I pull out this penny that looks just like, well, every other penny I've ever seen. Not a rare 1985 not even a 1943 steel penny, just a regular, ordinary penny. But, in my defense, I was so sure it was going to be something special. Like, my hopes were sky high. After a quick glance, I thought I had found a super rare error penny. I didn't. But I still walked away feeling like I'd struck gold because I now had a story to tell. And that's the thing with coin hunting, even when you don't strike it rich, the hunt is half the fun. So, how do you tell if you've got a $1.8 million 1985 D penny in your hands? Well, first of all, let's talk about what makes these so special. The 1985 D penny with the misaligned die error shows some noticeable features. The most common signs include an off-center image of Lincoln, or even some doubling around the lettering and design. If you find one of these, congratulations! You found a rare coin that is worth checking out with a professional numismatist. First, check the date and the mint mark. You'll want to make sure it's a 1985 penny with a D mint mark, which was struck in Denver. Then, look carefully at the design. Does it seem off? Is there some extra metal where there shouldn't be? If so, you might just have yourself a winning penny, but hey, if it's not a misaligned die, don't throw it out just yet. You never know, collectible pennies can pop up in the most unexpected places. So, what about the current market value of the 1985 D penny? Right now, this rare coin can fetch up to $1.8 million at auction, especially if it's in mint condition. But don't expect to just walk into a store and get that price, of course. It all depends on the condition, the rarity of the error, and how much collectors are willing to bid. If you happen to have a 1985 D penny with a misaligned die error, it could be worth thousands or even millions depending on the market. But, here's the thing, a regular 1985 D penny is still a great find for a coin collector, even if it's not worth millions. A good quality coin can still go for a decent amount, especially if you're trying to complete a collection. So, if you're out there with a pile of loose change or digging through rolls of pennies, keep an eye out for that 1985 D Lincoln penny. Who knows? You could be sitting on a little treasure trove that could make you a fortune, and remember, even if you don't hit the jackpot this time, every penny you find adds to your knowledge and could lead to the next big find. So, keep hunting, keep learning, and who knows, your next coin could be worth $1 million. Before you go running off to search your couch cushions, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more tips, tricks, and strategies on how to find coins worth money. I'm dropping new videos every week on rare coins and how you can turn your hobby into something profitable. You don't want to miss it.